In this episode, you'll discover 3 ways your Ikigai may be changing in a career or life transition, and why that may be giving you more useful information than you realize. Welcome to the Midlife Reinvention Podcast, a podcast helping women in career and life transitions achieve clarity on their next steps so they can transform uncertainty into an energizing next chapter. I'm your host, Kavita Ahuja, and the founder of It's My Time Now Coaching. If you're wondering what's next in your career or life, you are in the right place. Through solo and guest episodes, you'll gain practical tips, tools, and inspiration to help you uncover blocks, gain confidence, and be, do, and have what you want. I rediscovered myself after the age of 50, and I know you can too. It's my time now to help you do just that. I'm so excited you're here. Let's dive in. Hello and welcome back to another mini episode of the Midlife Reinvention Podcast. I wanted to offer you a shorter reflection today that builds on the last episode. Because once you begin questioning success and what it really means for you, a very natural question is this: what happens to your Ikigai or reason for being when you're in a transition? Because I think a lot of people assume that Ikigai is something fixed, as though there is one perfect answer you're meant to discover and then hold on to forever. But that really isn't how it works, my friend, and it certainly isn't how transitions work. As you grow and as your life changes, as your responsibilities shift, as your energy changes, and as you become more honest about what matters to you, your relationship with your Ikigai can change too. So today I want to share 3 ways your Ikigai often changes in a career or life transition, and more importantly, what you can begin doing with that awareness right now. The first is that what used to feel meaningful may no longer feel meaningful in the same way. That can be very unsettling, especially if you have built a lot of your identity around work that once felt purposeful, exciting, or worth the sacrifice. You may still be good at it. You may still get recognition for it. You may be still able to do it very well. But the deeper sense of meaning may not be there in the way it once was. And this happens more often than people realize. I've seen women who have built a successful path, stayed responsible, did everything they were supposed to do, and then found themselves waking up one day realizing that the work still looked good from the outside, but it no longer felt meaningful from the inside. And that can be very confusing, because you start asking yourself, why am I not satisfied by something that once made so much sense? But sometimes nothing is wrong. Sometimes you have simply changed. Sometimes your values have shifted, your priorities have deepened, or your definition of contribution has become more personal and more honest. What mattered to you 10 or 15 years ago may not be what matters most now, and that does not mean you are lost. It means you are evolving. So if that is where you are, one question I'd really invite you to sit with is this: what feels meaningful to me now that may not have mattered as much before? You do not need a perfect answer. Just begin noticing what has changed. The second way your Ikigai often changes in a transition is that your strengths may need to be expressed differently. This is a big one, because a lot of people assume that if they are good at something, they should keep using that strength in exactly the same way, in the same environment, role, or pace forever. But that is not always true. You may still be highly skilled at, for example, leading or teaching, caregiving, managing, solving problems, or building or creating, or supporting others, And yet the way you have been using those strengths may no longer fit your life or your energy. And that is a very important distinction. I've seen this especially with women who know they are capable of more, who have taken the initiative, worked hard, spoken up, and tried to earn the next step, yet still feel underused or overextended or strangely disconnected from their own strengths. The issue is not that they no longer have value. Very often the issue is that the environment, the pace, or the structure they're in is no longer a good fit for how those strengths want to be used. So, if this resonates, a helpful question to ask yourself is this: which of my strengths still feel alive, and which ones feel overused or drained in the way I'm living now? And one small thing you can do with this is to make 2 simple lists. On one side, write down the strengths you know you have. On the other, write down which of those strengths actually feel good to use right now. That can be incredibly revealing because it helps you separate what you are capable of from what is actually aligned. The third way your Ikigai often changes in a transition is that your energy becomes a much more important guide. This is where I think so many people are getting useful information, but they ignore it because they think energy is too soft or too subjective. It's not. Sometimes your energy is telling you the truth long before your mind is ready to admit it. You may notice that certain kinds of work leave you tense or resentful, flat, or just pushing through. You may also notice that other kinds of work, or conversations, ideas, or ways of contributing leave you feeling more open, more interested, more clear, and more like yourself. And that matters. Because when your life or work is badly out of alignment, it often keeps you in a more catabolic state. You're bracing, you're coping, managing, comparing, trying to keep up, or trying to prove something. Even if you're functioning well, there is still a cost. And this is not abstract. I've seen women who were still doing their jobs well enough that no one around them would have guessed how much was costing them. But by the end of the day, they had very little left for their own lives. Their workday took the best of them, and the parts of themselves that were curious, creative, thoughtful, or energized had very little room left. When you begin moving towards something that is more aligned with your Ikigai, you often feel more anabolic energy instead. There's more openness, more possibility, more steadiness, and more sense that your life is moving with you instead of against you. So here is a very simple practice you can try this week. At the end of each day, take 2 minutes and ask yourself, what gave me energy today? What took my energy away? When did I feel most like myself? And when did I feel like I was just getting through? You do not need to overanalyze it. Just notice. Patterns will start to emerge, and those patterns can tell you a great deal about where your life is aligned and where it is not. So, if you take anything from this short episode, it is this: your Ikigai is not a fixed answer that you find once and then hold on to forever. It evolves as you evolve, and in a career or life transition, that is not a problem. In many ways, it is the invitation. It is the invitation to get more honest about what matters to you now, what kind of contribution feels right now, what kind of life actually fits now, and what version of success you may be ready to leave behind. And if you want a practical place to begin with that, this is exactly why my career and life fulfillment quiz can be so helpful, because it gives you a clearer picture of where you are already being fulfilled, where you are not, and where the gaps in alignment may be showing up more than you realize. You'll find the link in the show notes, and it can be a really helpful first step if you're trying to understand what this season of life may be asking of you. So, my friend, if the old version of success doesn't seem to fit anymore, I hope this reminds you that it doesn't mean something has gone wrong. It may simply mean you're in a season where your Ikigai is shifting and your next chapter is asking to be built from a deeper, more honest place. Take good care, and I'll see you next time.